Okay. Hi Amber, sorry this took forever to set up. I'm using a flip cam and they're like this big, so I had to figure out how I could see myself, and you can kind of see the spread here and what's happening. So this is your spread, and what I do, and you're probably, if you're not familiar with it, or anybody else who's watching, if you're not familiar with this, hi, I'm Heather. This is the basic 10 card Celtic Cross spread, and this is kind of a standard spread, I guess. I've seen 3 card spreads, I've seen astrology spreads, which are awesome, but this is just the standard spread. The queer poses a question or like an idea, and you want it for a good inquiry. You want it to be specific, relating to you, and relating to you right now. So you wouldn't say, how do I find love? You would say, is my association at work, or is my, what can I do right now to better attract something? Or you would say, like, how can I better utilize my job to get more money? Usually the questions that I see are overwhelmingly about love, success, or like plans, like what do you want to do with your life. So, and those can all be addressed. The suits are kind of interesting too. Let me look at my notes again to kind of explain that better. The wands, which you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of, those are your passion cards. Those usually have to do with creativity, action, and movement, which is great because that's what your spread is about. You have, do you have any cups here? You do. You have 1, 2 cups, which is great because this goes, and I can explain more about this in a second, but this goes from your conscious self to your unconscious, not realized self. Then this goes from past to future over here. This would be your question, and then this would be you. Your wheel, this is your question right here, and then you have the influencing factors that turn that, and then this is you as the person, I guess, sort of walking alongside it. So the cups are your emotional and spiritual. They're your feelings. It's a like mood and emotion suit. And you don't have any swords that I see. Swords are like an intellectual mentality type thing, so it's not any sort of thing that requires, it's something that requires more emotion and intuition than it does like actual fact. So, which makes sense because it's a creativity, it's an adventure spread, but that's a little bit of a spoiler, getting ahead of myself. And then pentacles are success and growth. So when you're talking about personal journeys and adventures, that shows sort of a progression, which I prefer. Usually they're money, but this is not a money spread. I can tell you that right now. It's not a money spread. So, and then we have, you only have, well, you know you do actually. You have 2 major arcana cards. You have the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have the Moon, and those are, they signify a deeper spiritual connection, so those are a little more significant when you look at it, which is good, because it shows that you're getting, the deck is getting a good reaction from the question, if you want to say it that way. And then the minor cards are sort of showing the aspect of every suit that I just explained from different angles, so we can get into like elementals, but that's getting a little too into it. Do you have any 10 cards? Yeah, you do have a 10 card right here, and that's kind of like the conclusion. It's a bigger thing. If you look at an ace card, that would be like the advent of the suit, and then the 10 would be the conclusion before you get into the suit cards, or court cards, I guess is what they're called. And you do have 2 court cards right here. Knights would be sort of like your teenage self. It's a lot of extreme emotions. It's like excess eagerness and sincerity, a lot of high energy. And then you have a page, which is more like a kid. You have a childlike mentality, very free, adventure, loose spirit, easygoing, so, which is nice. You do have 2 of those, one in your question and one in your resolution. Usually I don't reveal this card until the end, but I like to figure out the meanings and get a better understanding for it before I present it, because it makes me sound more cohesive, if that makes sense, and I'm not all over the place. So let's get started. Let me explain the positions for you really quick on this 10 card spread. This right here is your querent, and that's you. Well, it's your question. It's what you're trying to get out of the spread. It's what you've asked the deck. It's what you're thinking about right now. This is kind of the, this is just influencing your question right here. So you can think of that as the axle of your wheel, the wheel of the Celtic Cross being your immediate situation. And then we have, so this is 1 and 2, and then it's 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 to 5 is going from your unconscious self to your conscious self, and 4 to 6 is going from your past to your future. And notice how this all rotates around your axle of your question. And then we have the self, which is separate from the question, which makes sense. And I think it's a bit essential, and that's why I really like the Celtic Cross deck spread. That, and it's the first one I ever learned. So you have the 3rd card right here, which is a root cause. It's the deeper meaning, the influences that are happening. The 4th card, like I said earlier, was past experiences, resolutions, maybe factors that are not in your life or have been solved already. Fifth card right here was your attitudes, beliefs, conscious influences, your goal and purpose. It's also considered your alternative outcome card, so we would compare that to the 10th card at the end. And then you have your 6th card, which is your future, the like approaches, influences, unresolved factors. So you go from past to future, and you go from conscious to unconscious, all rotating around the axis of your inquiry. So then we move over to self, which is the staff. This would be the wheel of it. If you think of the cross, this would be the circular part of it, and then this would be the staff that kind of holds everything together, the self versus the situation. And this is, well, this is your environment. This is card number 7 right here. It's you, as you are, as you could be, how you project yourself to other people. So this is who you are, which makes sense. This is a working card. This is a burden, I work my ass off card, and you're such a hardcore worker, Amber. So this is really syncing up. I did one last night for a friend of mine, and his really synced up too. He had a different card than this, but I was like, oh, this is so you, definitely. This, your 8th card, is the external environment, your outer point of view, your expectations. This one right here, your 9th card, is a key factor card. It's something to consider. I call it a hopes and fears card because it's something that sort of like salts the entire situation. It's something that you would sort of be mindful of as you consider your final outcome card, which is of course number 10. That's the inner state. It's the overall influence of the entire thing. And you would compare this again. You would compare your 10th card to your 5th card right here at the end, and we'll see how this lines up. But looking at this is an incredibly cohesive spread, which you have. And let me go over to your actual spread now.